Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. I had to get one more video in before I called it. Well, I ain't gonna say call it a night because I go to work later on today, but I had to do this video because I feel like this video is real important. Now, shout out to my homeboy J Dog. Shout out to Tariq Nasheeb because he been on point with this. He's talked about this before. I've talked about this for the last 4 years post Donald Trump being elected. And I've been waiting for this because I knew this was going to happen again, and I'm about to expose some people. And I want you to listen to this dude now. The sound is going to be a little distorted towards the end, but you're going to hear enough of it to come to the understanding and understand what I'm trying to say. So give me a second. Let me cue this up.
You see these guys doing this to the guys selling masks, to the Latino making raspados, beating people up, beating our people up, homeboy. You know what pisses me off more than anything? Us as Rasta and whoever has a platform, we're always trying to diffuse it, always trying to throw a positive message on here. What's pissing me off just as much as those guys is, where are the brothers at, man? Where are the African Americans with all their platforms, homie, speaking against this, talking to their youngsters about getting this shit straight? This guy.
Now, in case you guys don't know what you're listening to, this is some Hispanic, white Hispanic YouTuber. I don't even know what his channel's called, and I'm not going to go to his channel, but basically, he called himself having an issue and calling black YouTubers out and calling out black YouTubers with platforms, basically for not speaking out against some of the things that's been getting done to Hispanics. Basically, I think he was saying some Hispanic dude was getting jumped by, I guess, some black people, and he called himself having an attitude about it. And he's saying, why ain't we calling them out? And why? And where's the black and brown alliance? Well, first of all, they ain't one. Never have been one. Never will be one. Okay. To that dude that made that video, fuck you. Okay? Real talk. Fuck you. And I mean that with a capital F. You want to try to play the victim? You want to say, why ain't we speaking out? See, this is what I'm talking about. Nobody ever cares about anything that happens to black people. But as soon as something happened to they people, then here they come hollering this shit about, oh, black people need to understand and us minorities need to stick together. No, the fuck we don't. Okay. Let's go back in history. Remember that book that got wrote in 1990 called A Presumed Alliance? It was written by some Hispanic dude, probably a Mexican dude, where he clearly specified in that book, he don't know where black people got this thing that Mexicans or Hispanics and black people were allies. He basically was saying their struggles are not the same as our struggles and that we're pretty much on our own. Okay, cool. Keep it that way. You never hear me say black and brown in my videos. Okay? And I'm going to make this clear. I don't hate Hispanics. I don't hate nobody. But at the end of the day, it's not my responsibility because nobody ever cares. Where was the Hispanic community at when black people were making these videos and talking about the racism that was getting inflicted on us via the police or other white people? I made several videos talking about racism. Not one Hispanic stepped forward and called out the racism, saying, hey, that's not cool. Because you know why? They felt that wasn't their problem. Well, that's not our problem. Remember when Donald Trump first got elected? All of a sudden, when Donald Trump was talking this bill defense shit, then all of a sudden you seen videos get made. Oh man, we need to form an alliance with the brothers. We need to fight side by side. Nah, nope. See, that's the thing. Everybody think black people have this obligation to help them, but then they don't want to help us or speak on their behalf. See, the thing is, they want to act like racism doesn't exist when it comes to black people. But then when something has happened to another so-called minority, then all of a sudden they want us to understand. Then they start hollering about, well, look how black. No, no. Don't use us as your example. Once again, why didn't you? Where was all this concern? Like I said, what happened with Philantro Castile, Sandra Bland, Eric Gardner, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin? Where was all this concern at? Even going as far back as Oscar Grant. Where was all this concern at? Where was all this unity at? Y'all was nowhere to be found, just like y'all ain't nowhere to be found when I talk about these issues with racism being inflicted on black people. But keep in mind, remember, just last week, most of y'all was talking about, y'all was offended by what Devin Haney said. When he said he'd never lose to a white boy. What did that have to do with y'all? Why was you offended? But y'all not offended by what gets said about us. Y'all wasn't offended, and y'all didn't call Abel Sanchez out for his comments about black fighters. What y'all told us to do? Stop crying. Stop crying. If you feel like we ain't protecting y'all or looking out for y'all or extending the hamburger helper hand, stop crying about it. That's y'all problem. Remember those words? Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, huh? Ain't no fun when the shoe is on the other foot, huh? And you got to tie it. Right? You got to figure out how to tie it, right? Remember that? Remember those words? Remember with Terrell Williams and Pritchard Cologne. Remember all them N words y'all was calling Terrell Williams? Remember when Sergey Kovalov made his remarks about Adonis Stevenson and putting up those racist photos of Adonis Stevenson? What was y'all telling us? What was those words? What? Quit crying. Stop crying. Stop being so emotional. So now I'm saying that to y'all. Stop being so emotional. Remember when Mikey Garcia referred to Adrian Broner as Donkey Kong? Remember that? What y'all say? Stop crying. Mikey Garcia don't have to apologize. Even though, shout out to Mikey Garcia, he apologized. So I don't have no problem with Mikey Garcia. He immediately apologized. He said, hey, I apologize if you took it the wrong way. Wasn't nothing racial about it. Hey, and the black community gave Mikey a pass. Let it slide. We went on. But what was y'all saying in the comment section? Oh, Mikey Garcia don't have to apologize. Remember that? Remember that? For real. Remember that? What was y'all saying about those racist emails that affiliate with Golden Boy Exchange talking about Al Heyman, the N-word of Black Hitler? What was that? What was that? Hold on. I can't hear you. What was it? What did y'all tell us? Quit crying. Oscar don't have to apologize. I didn't hear none of y'all condemning Oscar De La Hoya, but you told us black people we being too emotional. Well, y'all being too emotional. Okay? Several videos I made talking about racism. Nobody said shit on the Hispanic side. Nobody cared. But now all of a sudden you want to try to play victim and try to play that shit. Okay, and let's talk about this so-called issue and this jumping. What about how the Mexican mafia was telling some of y'all to go into these black neighborhoods and clean up the neighborhoods, basically, harm black people? What about how Mexican gangs was shooting black people for no reason? What about how they shot that football player who was coming home from practice, who wasn't affiliated with a gang, told him he didn't bang, and they shot him up? What about how they shot up a black girl who was just jump roping with her friends in an alley in LA? What about how they ran up in a black family's house and shot the mother and the father, put pillows over their head and shot them and murdered them? What about how the Mexican gangs formed an alliance with the white supremacists in prison so they can have enough numbers to take on, the BGF and the gangs and the prison system? How they formed an alliance to make the numbers, and how in jail that most Mexicans ain't even allowed to talk to blacks. Remember George Lopez comments? Never bring home a black. What was that? We being too sensitive? Yeah, remember all that? Do I need to go? Do I need to further go on? Nah. That's what I thought. See, like I said before, when something happened to us, nobody cares. But people use the racism, other minorities, so-called minorities, use the racism that's being inflicted on us to say, well, see, we're going through what the blacks go through. Let me ask y'all again. Why ain't y'all called out these Asians on the racism that they have inflicted on black people in the States and in Africa and in Asia? But this dude sitting up talking about why ain't we teaching our kids now all of a sudden we brothers? Nah, we ain't no brothers. We like Nick Nolte said, we ain't brothers, we ain't partners, we ain't friends. It's amazing how you always hear these so-called fake politicians or some of these apologists always hollering about the black and the brown. Well, like I said, but I never hear Mexicans hollering that black and brown shit. It's always black people, because black people is so desperate to be accepted. Not me. I'm sorry, the gig's been up for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden, you got people telling us, and they do this all the time. Love to tell us what type of videos to put out. Love to tell us what type of content to put out. You don't tell us what type of videos to put out. You don't run our channels, and we don't take orders from y'all. I could tell you some horror stories. You know what I'm saying? My personal experience. Not with all of them, but with some. I done been on jobs where you can have black people minding their own business, trying to work hard, trying to work to feed their family, and then you have some Hispanic people that'll be hating on the blacks, trying to get them fired, saying that he lazy and he don't want to work and all that bullshit. Oh yeah. The chickens have come home the chickens have come home to roast, cook, bake, fricassee, fry, whatever terminology you want to use. Don't feel good, huh? Like I said, remember, when we did have an issue, like I said, y'all was nowhere to be found. One thing you need to understand about me, I'm town business. before I'm anything else. I'ma always be town business first. Thank you for listening. This is your boy Town Biz. Oh yeah, and once again to that dude that made that video, fuck you.